Okay. Great. Next question for you. Talk to me about kind of two sides. Talk to me about recruiting. You were there at Fullerton, I think, John, what, over 30 years? Was
Right.
but so talk to me about recruiting in the 90s, early 2000s, in
Yeah.
1990s and early 2000s compared to like when you retired at the end of your
Right.
career. Because
Yeah.
even for me, it changed. It's changed dramatically the last couple
Mhm.
years. All this new stuff, these NLIs and stuff. I mean, that doesn't affect track and field on that level too much, but
Yeah.
it's changed dramatically. So talk to
Yeah.
this is more for the parents, I think, because I have parents all the time go, how do I get my kid recruited now, whatever. So, and I've always got advice for them, but
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, my early career, we were still recruiting out of newspaper clippings, right?
yeah,
Like we,
yeah, yeah,
we get
absolutely.
the Orange County Register and the LA Times sports
Yeah,
sections and cut out results
results. Yep,
and then send letters to kids and hope that we got a letter, something back,
yep,
a couple of weeks later. And so to the information age, when email came in and then the internet and
hmm,
things like that. So I think early on it was almost easier to get kids because there wasn't so much information out there about every kid, right?
yeah,
So we were able to get some elite kids back early in my coaching career, especially in cross country. I mentioned Steve Rizzoni, Mike Tansley, Heather Colleen, a lot of good local talent. Um, and yeah, then the internet and everything came into play, and then things got way more competitive. Title IX um, programs started getting funded better,
hmm,
and so it became more competitive. So I think um, in recruiting, we really obviously look for talent, right? But we also look for, especially later in my career. I mean, I mentioned the championship mentality. We were looking for kids that had that, kind of championship mentality, team focused. Um, Obviously, they're going to, do well in the classroom and those kind of things. And of course, we uh, sometimes you get lured in, you see the red flags, and
hmm,
you recruit a kid and it ends up not working out, but so you try in the recruiting process to kind of filter through that, kids and who's the ones that have that kind of um uh uh the kind of person that you want, so uh one of the things that Jim Donovan really recommended for us is to talk to people, talk to the parents, talk to a counselor, talk to coaches, and get references about kids. And I would say, I mean, getting recruited for the parent out there of a high school kid, I mean, um, I think we a lot of times the recruiting process started with us being contacted by the student first,
hmm,
right? And I don't want to not, I mean, the recruiting services, we didn't recruit a lot out of the recruiting services. I got recruiting service emails like daily.
hmm, yeah,
And that to me wasn't a kid that was interested in Cal State Fullerton.
hmm,
You know, they were interested in just finding somebody that wanted to give them money or, whatever.
hmm,
And so I think the thing that I recommend to even friends of mine that have kids that are, potential college athletes is I like, hey,
hmm,
reach out to the coaches of schools that you're interested in and let them know that you're interested, and I think that goes a long way. And of course, you're going to reach out to kids that don't necessarily know about Cal State Fullerton, but then you get to tell them about it, right? And then like,
hmm,
oh, I didn't know that, or I didn't know that, so I think I just I don't I always just encourage parents to reach out and like maybe a coach is going to find, you're going to find common interest, maybe
hmm.
not, but um,
To just
don't be
yeah
afraid to put
to just
yourself
but
out
I
there.
always tell parents to reach out too, but I also I say this, and maybe you can comment on it.
Mhm.
me and Alexander, I've talked to him about it in the past when he was in high school. I say reach out, but I said, but understand who you are and kind of
Mhm.
where you. And what I mean by that is, I would say, don't if you're if you're a guy and you're a 430 miler, I'm like, do not reach out to UCLA, USC. They're
Yeah.
not going to return your. I just
Yeah.
say that to kind of people like certain.
Yeah.
There should be an expectation, I think, from a parent because they always ask me, and I go, you got to be at a certain level for these coaches to even return your emails. They get inundated with emails.
Right.
You might get 100 emails from potential walk-ons. And coaches, a lot of times it's going to be delete, 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 delete. Then
Right.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this kid will help me. This kid will help me. Oh, this kid might be a fit. But I tell parents, yeah, reach
Mhm.
out, reach out.
Yeah.
But understand, if you contact certain coaches, you might not get a response. Um,
Yeah, and I think that's true. I think, yeah, understanding the kind of profile that you fit into, like as a recruit, like what level. Like I was just talking to a high school coach here in Fort Collins the other day, and he's got a kid that was like, yeah, you know, I want to contact, I'm gonna run track at Arizona,
yeah.
and the coach is like, okay, it's Pac-12, like you're a 15-2 like hurdler,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and it's hard to say to kids like you don't want to crush their dreams or
Hmm.
whatever, but you also have to be realistic about where you fit in whether it's D1 Power 5, whether it's D1 mid-major or D2, or things. And it's all finding what's a good fit, for you. And some coaches, like, they won't even respond. Like I try to respond as
Hmm.
much as I could, and I had this kind of form
Yeah.
letter that I had. It was as nice as it could be, like as
Hmm.
nice as a rejection, as I
Yeah.
can make it. But at the end of the day, you can't answer every single one, right? Like so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important to kind of understand where you fit in.